Hi everyone, Tiffany here, and welcome to my quilting life. So, obviously, I told you you're going to see a little bit more of me. Well, this is the last day for now that you'll see a little bit more of me. So, don't forget, if you're new to my channel, go down here and subscribe, as well as hit that bell and get the notifications when I'm on, and like my videos and share them. Um, Hi Sandy, I'm good. So today I have a brand new pattern, and it's the simplest, which is the name of it, Simple Slice. That's literally going to be very easy, and it should go together so quick, and it's a very, what's the word for it? It's just simple, and it's going to be just one layer cake, so it'll be a lap size quilt, or it could probably fit on a twin bed with lots of bordering it out, obviously. But it's going to be a layer cake quilt. So I just grabbed a layer cake. This one is specifically designed, hi Billy, this is specifically designed for layer cakes that have large prints. I know a lot of people do not want to chop up large prints. They just like, oh, what do I do with that? Because if I chop this off and chop that off, I'm going to lose my print. So what I mean by large prints is, and I'm going to hold this up to the camera, is prints that are very large like this. And you don't want to lose too much of it. You're like, what do I do with that? Not all the prints in here are large, obviously, but I had to choose one because I don't really have many with large prints. But this is designed for large prints, if that makes any sense. So we're going to do a layer cake that has 42. It has to have 42 pieces. And if it only has 40, you need to add 2 from your stash. But this is for 42 pieces, layer cake, as well as we need a yard. I just cut a yard and a half because I just wanted to be sure, but I'm pretty sure it's not going to take a yard and a half even after the first border. So I'm just a yard and a half of a contrasting fabric, and or you can use black, because black will also make this look like something else that I've seen before, just a little bit more solid, straight type figures, I guess. But yeah, so we're going to use a yard and a half of, I'm using white to go with this because I actually don't have any other colors right now that I would love to have. I even have browns and oranges, and this one has pinks in it and reds. So I don't have any highlighting colors, but I'm going to use it anyway with some white because there is white in here, and I'm going to get to it. So same thing if it's close for a yard, I do a yard and a half. Yeah, this doesn't exactly, technically it would call for like 20 inches of fabric, maybe 25 for people who can't cut it right, plus the border, which would be another, I don't know, quarter yard. So technically it's not even a yard and a half, it's a yard and a quarter, but we're making do. So I'm going to start by cutting the yardage first before we even get to the layer cake, so that it's less confusing. And like I said, this is going to go together super quick. So what we're going to do is, I made a straight line on it, and I'm just going to cut it all right here, right now. So I'm going to start with my yardage, and these, and I don't even have to write a pattern. I'm going to tell you, these strips that we're cutting off of the yardage are 1 inch. So I'm going to cut, I have it folded in half, so I'm going to cut about, I don't know, 16 1-inch strips just to start with, even though I probably will need more, but we're going to be chain sewing this whole project because it's super simple. So I'm going to cut a bunch of 1-inch strips, and I know 1 inch is for some people seems like a small number, but trust me, this will look perfectly fine with 1-inch strips. And I didn't even have to do a practice block on this. Usually I kind of try to do up a block real quick to make it easier for me to do, and I just went and screwed that up. I think I'm going to go backwards with this. Let me just trim this real quick. I have the shakes today, and obviously I should not do any piecing when I have the shakes, or cutting, I should say, but I'm going to do it anyway. Only because I can. See what I just did there? My cut started going sideways on me. I just have a special pile for stuff that happens like that. All right, we're going to start again. We're going to cut 1-inch strips. Line it up. And put this down. And if you want to fold it in half again, it might be a lot easier, but my other rotary blade for thick cuts is dead, and we ordered some, so they should be here this week, hopefully, for my 60 millimeter. So there's 2 to start with, and I'm just going to throw them over here. I'm just going to cut a ton real quick just to start the project. How's everybody today? I know it's odd for me to be on these times, but I have things to do today, so I need to get what I can done now. 3, 4. If I gotta get stuff done, that way I can get other stuff done. So I want to do this to kind of like timing myself, because I know this will go together pretty darn quick, besides this cutting while having the shakes. That's the part that takes so long. Hi, Teresa. Let's see. That's it. Let's see. I do the same thing. Yeah, I have so many things that need to be done, and this was one of the things that I really wanted to get done the other day, but I had company, and I did the video with Justin to make his table runner, which he loves. Next time he'll sew, but I didn't get a chance to give him a quick rundown of the sewing machine before we went live and before he went out and took CJ to dinner and the movies for his birthday, so that's why he didn't sew and I did all the sewing. Alright, I lost the count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you could cut this and fold it up again and cut it in 4s if you want. For beginners, I would say if you're a beginner, true beginner, that you would want to cut this, just fold it in half, just like I'm doing. Especially if you don't have the right blades. 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, let's do this 8 more times real quick. And they're 1-inch strips. And you'll see why when we get to making this. I wish I had my other mat. I should bring my other mat in from outside, because then I could just pick it up and set it on the next number. Instead of having to line my ruler up, I can line it up on the mat. But this mat doesn't have any number markings, which kind of sucks, but make sure you're using a weight if you're cutting the yardage in half like this. That way it holds it down. If you fold it in half again on top of itself, creating 4 layers at a time, it shouldn't have to use a weight, but I'm cutting the length of the yardage when it comes off the bolt, so the weight is a smart way to do it. Let's do this one more cut for now. I don't want to overcut if I don't have to, if that makes any sense. The way I'm putting it together does not require any subcuts of the strips. So I'm just going to move this out of the way for now. We are going to get to the layer cake, which has yet to be opened as well. So I can share it with the children and put it on the internet. Yeah, you could post it to the group, Teresa, if you want. All right, so I'm going to pull this out. Okay, my layer cake, as if anyone else knows, has pinked edges, which, you know, is kind of tough to work with at times because the blocks are bigger than 10 inches. But we're going to do the same as I always show you guys. We are going to cut these from the inside of the pinking, because for some strange reason, every single one of these is going to be exactly the same. And yeah, so from the inside of the pinking is usually 10 inches on these. And I'm just going to make sure always like I do. And oh, it looks like these ones are actually the outside of the pinking, so I could just line them right up. So I am going to just take a stack of them. There's probably 8 here. I'm going to just force it with that other rotary cutter, but I guess I can dull up my blade even more. And I'm going to start right here by coming to my left-hand side. Oops, I did need my other ruler. Because that one, I need to have something that is at least 7 inches. And that's only 6. So hang that. We need something that has a 7-inch line. And so my big 12.5-inch ruler is going to make this work. Hi, Sonia. So we're going to come in and cut 7 inches. Just line it up on the layer cake pieces that you just pulled out. Come to the 7-inch line. Make sure it's lined up on 7 inches. 7 inches. And I'm going to lay this up better right here because it doesn't seem so square. Oh, line it up on the lines on my mat so that everything stays nice and square. And again, I just have a nice big stack of them. I'm going to take my 7-inch line, line it up right here. Like I was saying, this is for layer cakes that have big prints. Now I have it on 7 inches, and I'm going to cut that. Make sure it doesn't shift because it usually does. And now I'm going to turn this way and come up the block like so, 7 inches again. So I'll line it up right on that pinking, because this one comes to the outside of the pinking. Every single one of these are so different. The last like 5 layer cakes have been the inside of the pinking. This time it's the outside. So now I'm at 7 inches again, and I sliced it. So now we should have a 7 by 3 inch, a 3 inch by 3 inch, a 7 by 7 inch, and another 7 inch by 3 inch square. So hopefully you guys can see that. Let me turn this down just a tad. There we go, right there. So again, 7 inches cut from the inside, cut all the way across. 7 inches coming up from the block, cut all the way across. 7 by 7, 7 by 3, 7 by 3, and 3 by 3. This is what we're going to have. So you can go ahead, move all these out of the way, and you can chop up this whole entire layer cake just like that. Slide all the pieces over here to my sewing area because I'm just going to stack them all over here just like that. I'm going to cut up another pile. I'm just going to bring them right here, line them up on a line, nice and square. I'm going to do it again. Come in 7 inches. Come in 7 inches. Slice it. Make sure that this stays where it's supposed to. Turn my ruler, come over this way, and cut 7 inches. Lining it up. It's not on the line perfectly down here, so I have to line it up. And cut 7 inches. Again, we should get 7, 7 by 3, 7 by 3, and 3 by 3. Then I'm just going to take them, stack them over here, like so. And do it with the rest of the layer cake. So I'm just going to grab a ton of pieces again. Oops. Lay them right here. I'm just going to cut the whole layer cake up and stack the whole layer cake up in one big huge pile as if I never did anything, but obviously I did. So we're going to start with that 7 inch this way.
Do you need me to get you anything? Do anything for it?
Nope.
Okay.
Make sure that doesn't shift. Sometimes they shift if you don't have anything holding that side down. Line it up on the 7 inches this way. There. Where we at? Right there. And right there. And cut. Again, same thing. So I'm just going to stack them over here. Just like this. Look at that. We're almost done cutting a whole layer cake up. Line this up on a line. Just like so. Come in 7 inches. Line it up on there. Slice it. Bring it back down. I don't feel like that piece cut right there. And it did. There we go. Turn the whole thing. Line it up on 7 again. And if you have a rotating mat, that would work perfect for this. Make sure that they separated, and they did. Line them right here. This is a very, 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 very simple one to do. All right, 2 more stacks left to cut. Line it up on a line. Again, the cuts are, once it's lined up on a line, you know that you're accurate. You're cutting over 7 inches. Make sure it's a ruler that has 7 inches on it. The long rulers with the 6-inch by 24-inch are not going to work for this unless you're using the lines on your cutting mat. And again, I'm going to come over 7 inches from the bottom now. So I came in from the left, and now I'm coming in from the bottom. And I'll look at the comments in just a second, guys. Let's separate it. That's what we want. Stack them all up. And I'm stacking them with the pinking on the outside again, as if I never cut the blocks. Material. Orange try came from I'm going to have to go to the grocery store before I get to work. Keep running though. See ya. All right. See ya, Sandy. I'll probably be working on this or be done because this is going to go pretty quick once all these cuts are finished. All right. Again, one more time, last cut. And you can do this in piles of 6, 5, 4, whatever you're comfortable with cutting. All right, 7 inches. And that one really shifted because I had to put a lot of pressure. And then from the bottom, again, 7 inches. For beginners, I probably would recommend not cutting this many layers at a time, but I'm in a hurry, so you don't have to copy me. Just all right, and that's it. So this should be 7 by 7, 7 by 3 inch, 3 inch by 3 inch, and 3 inch by 7 inch. That's what they should be. So I'm gonna go ahead and stack them all over here, and we're gonna get to some sewing because this part, next part, goes really fast. It is all chain piecing. And when I say chain piecing, I mean hooking up one piece after another after another. So, and I have 2 screens on with the same screen today so that I can see comments if I lean to the side a little because I'm trying to keep my phone charged. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to grab a strip, just one of our 1-inch strips, and I'm going to lay it right here. I'm just going to stick it under the needle, the thing, hold it down. And I'm going to start with this top pile, the 3 by 7s. I'm going to start with this. And I'm going to take the first piece and I'm going to lay it right sides together on here. And I'm going to stick this right in front of me. Oops. And I'm going to just right sides together, lay them on here, and I'm going to keep them in order. And I'm going to butt them up as close as possible because all I'm going to do is trim them apart. It's only a 1-inch strip of fabric that we're trimming them apart with, so they should all lay nice. So let's get as many pieces per strip that I can get on here. And I'm just going to keep them in the order that I'm picking them up from the whole entire project. This is where it goes together super duper fast. So I'm just going to right sides together, put the next one on, chain piecing this whole entire project. Like I said, there's no subcuts needed of the whites. All we're going to do is trim them apart after we sew them on. So flipping it up, right sides together. I have my long strip just hanging off the machine. We're going to get as many pieces as we can hooked to it. And when I say I'm butting them up together, you can see it's just going to hang like ribbon. And then when we get to that part, we're just going to trim them off, keeping them in order. This whole entire time, it's really easy to just keep these in order. And if you're not keeping them in order, picking up that next set will put them back in order again. So right sides together, and I'm sewing it with the straight side to my straight side. The pinking is on the outside this whole entire time. So I just come down a little, add another one. Come down a little, add another one. So let's just go. And just keep right sides together, flipping the next one on, sewing it to it, chain piecing the whole thing, butting up every fabric. So I'm just butting them all up, sewing them on. Sometimes I'm going a little too far with my needle, but just pick up your presser foot and put it back down and go. And I'll just get one more on here, and then I'm just going to grab another strip. I'm going to veer off that one, but I'm going to keep it on there, grabbing another strip, and I'm just going to keep going. So I'm going to place it on here, below the selvage, obviously. I don't want that in my block. But they're still chain pieced in the order they need to be. So just keep adding them over and over. Right sides together, I'm just flipping them and adding them. Like I said, if you go too far with your needle, that's okay. Just pick up your presser foot or backtrack just a smidge. Right sides together. And if you want, you can even pre-pin all the pieces onto your strip. That way you can just slide it through. I mean, that would probably make it easier than what I'm doing right here. I'm just holding that 1-inch strip straight because you don't want that to get messed up at all. Alright, just keep going through. Again, the cuts are for these little sashing pieces. And you'll see when it goes together what I mean by sashing pieces. They are 1-inch strips from a yard of fabric, 1.5 yards, just to be on the safe side for borders. And then the 10-inch layer cake, which is cut down 7 inches, and then from the side, and then another 7 inches from the bottom. And then the next cut is, and that's it. And then you just start stack them up and sew them together. So I'm just sewing them together. All right, that's the last of that strip. Grab another one. Lay it up here. I'm just going to start it under the needle real quick so that it stays nice and flat. Come over here, right sides together, away from the selvage, at that end. And you can use a corresponding color. You don't have to use white or black, as long as you can see it splitting the blocks. And it does not matter what color you use. It's got to go with it, though, I think, honestly. I'm only using white this time because normally I would use something else, but I don't have any color that really goes with this besides white. And white's okay to use. So is black, but black wouldn't have looked good with this. Not with this layer cake, but I didn't have any other layer cake to show you guys what big prints on layer cakes are like. Because I don't have any more big prints. They're all small. I didn't go shopping at the store for this project. I went shopping in my room. But I like to have things to use all this up on, so. Again, I'm just butting them up right next to each other, sewing them right through, chain piecing the whole lot of them. And I'm almost to the bottom of this pile. That's where it gets really easy getting to the bottom, because the next part is to trim them all apart and stack them. Just a couple more pieces. Two more to go. So that was what, 3 strips I used so far for this section. So I got 3 strips using these up. I'm going to break thread, and since this is my bottom piece, what I'm going to do is just with my scissors, I'm going to chop off this little end right here, nice and flat, so I don't need that, and I'm just going to scissor cut every piece, nice and straight. And I'm just going to lay them right here with my little strip that I just sewn on the inside, just like this. So I'm just going to snip them all apart. This is the part you would probably want to rush through. And I didn't realize I have green bobbin thread. That doesn't show, does it? I forgot to change it out from yesterday. I'm going to change it now, though. So some of the project will be with green bobbin thread, and some won't. Actually, I'll just sew it together with green bobbin thread. Who cares? It's not poking through, but... So again, I'm just going to start trimming all these apart and stacking them. And I do better when I stand, so you can rotary cut this if you want as well, in between every single one. I'm just going to scissor cut though. Like I did when I first started quilting, all I ever did was scissor cut everything. So I'm just going to cut and stack, cut and stack. And you want to try to keep them nice and flat as you go. And a lot of people have done this method, cutting it like this and sewing it like this, as long as they're all on the block. Now, if you cut one side because it didn't butt up just right, and there's still a little bit hanging off the top, you can see that, just go ahead and turn the piece around and trim off that top little piece that's sticking up. That's if you didn't butt them up close enough, you can do that. So like this one, kind of, but not much. It's ever so slight amounts. So I'm just stacking them right back where they were. With my little cut piece that I just made, so we're at the beginning of a strip right here. So I'm going to just cut that end off nicely, lay it there, trim off that other end after I lay it nice and flat, obviously. And then I'll just go and trim off this little end piece. And if it has a little boo-boo in it, that's okay, because it doesn't matter. The block's still going to lay nice. It's just a little itty-bitty lift up. So we're just going to cut and stack. This is where it'd be fun to have a little sewing and trimming and cutting partner, somebody to come hang out and trim them all apart while you're sewing, just pulling them off the machine and trimming them apart. But they're only little 1-inch strips, so they trim apart really easily. That's why I said you don't really need a rotary cutter. I'm just trimming them right in half. from each other and stacking them. Back in the order that I had originally picked them up in. That's the cool part about this project, is it can go right back into its original order after you add your pieces. And pressing does not have to be just yet either. That can get put off. Probably be nicer to have sharper scissors than what I'm using. Okay, I'm back to another one. At the end and the beginning. Toss that out of the way. Keeping my fabric nice and straight as I cut this as best as I can. Just trimming and stacking, trimming and stacking. See, they're all hooked together. I'm just trimming them apart and stacking them up. Getting to the end, trying to keep it nice and flat. So every piece of this whole entire project will go back to its original piece. And you could mess them up if you want. That's your own personal decision. I'm keeping them together because that's what I want to do. But you can mess them all up if you want. That's totally up to you. I'm just showing you how to make it. And this one went further down, so I got to trim that and the selvage side off. Trim this little end right there. There we go. Now it's stacked originally. You can see same matching colors right where they're supposed to be. Now we're going to do this all over again with the next stack with those 7 by 7 inch squares. Okay, so now we're just going to grab this, and it's the same process. I'm going to stick this under here to hold that straight. And I'm going to adjust my sitting because, all right, I'm going to grab the first square. I'm going to show you. I'm going to pick it up, lay it right sides together. So my pinked edge should be on the top and the left. My straight edge should be on the right and the bottom. Just so that you know that your pieces are all being sewn the same direction. And I'm just going to sew up to the edge. And I'm going to lay this on my lap. Make it easier for me. So I'm going to pick up a piece from my lap. Just going to lay it on here. I'm going to butt them right up. So the next piece on should be able to get 5, I think 4 or 5 pieces. I think it's 5 per strip this way now. Because 7 inches instead of 3. Don't stretch, tug, or pull. What do we got so far? We got 3, 4, 5. We should get 5 per, I think. That's why I said you need to cut a lot of 1 inch strips. Shouldn't need more than 20 though for the whole project. Oh, I should get 1 more then. We'll see right now. Have enough for 1 more? Ooh, I do. Yay. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 7-inch strips, or 6 7-inch squares per my 1-inch strip. So 6 per strip. Just going to slide this in now for the next piece. And then beyond the selvage and pick up my pieces and keep going. Line it up with the edge. No pulling or tugging, just sew on down. Take the next piece, butt it up. And I'm counting to myself Does anybody have any questions? This one is so simple. I mean, I don't even need to write it on paper. Again, the measurement for cutting is 7 inches from the left, cut in, and then 7 inches from the bottom, cut up, cut in, you know, come in from the left, come in from the bottom. Both ways is 7 inches that you're cutting. And then the other strip is your contrasting color that you're cutting at 1-inch strips. Because by the time we are done, this block should be 10 inches again. Should be right back to 10 inches with these. And I'll show you how and why in a second. When we get to that part, after I sew all these on. And again, this is for prints that are large. You want to keep it large. You could still do it with small prints. It doesn't really matter. It's the idea of it. But if you definitely want to keep your large prints large like this, this keeps you from cutting them up so much that you can't tell what that print was in the first place. Definitely easy for a quick gift for family and friends. My thing just got stuck. So I'm just laying these on here. I should get 6. Or however many I said I was doing. 6. Third strip. I don't think I'm even going to have to cut too many more strips. Probably like 2 by the time we're done. I estimated 20 and I cut 18. Let's grab another strip. Hi, Vicky. Let's start this one. Come down here, grab another one from my lap. I just have them on my lap to make it so much simpler. Grab it and go. Keeping them all in order. And not move them out of order. They're just nicely in order still. I'm going to put my glasses over my hair so it stays. So annoying. Just grabbing each piece, sewing it on, butting it up to the last. Obviously, my layer cake has lots of repeats. So when I go to sew the blocks together, I'll just move them around so that no 2 pieces are the same. Pick up my presser foot, line this up, just butting each piece up to the next. And there's 42 pieces in each little stack, so it should go pretty darn quick. I'm just flipping them up onto. So I'm sewing always on the side that I cut. Always sewing on the side that I cut. My pink edges from the layer cake are always on the top and the left. My cut side is always on the right. Keeps everything nice and square, I think. Keeping it nice. Grab another one. sewing with selvage so that I'm not on it. Press a foot and just keep adding. What's everybody doing today? How many of you are at work? My tension is off on my machine. I can tell now with having 2 different color threads. And I'm going to do the same thing that I did the last strip pieces. I'm going to trim them apart. Just one more strip now. I love the butterflies in this. They're so pretty because they're pink. Only a few more pieces, and then we can trim these apart, and then the blocks can get put together. Which is going to go just as fast as this part. The only thing that probably takes time is just cutting the block. Oops. I'm going to have to pick that up in a second. I'm just pretty sure you guys can't hear me when it's down there like that. That was my microphone. And last piece. This desk vibrates so bad. I'm going to leave them in this order that they were in, and I'll be right back 2 seconds. I got to find this. Pick it up. I'm going to put the weight there to keep it up on the table. That way it doesn't fall again. All right, same procedure. Let's find these scissors. Leave it nice and flat. I'm going to trim this apart, and I'm going to cut this little end piece off right here, nice and flat. And I'm going to lay it back down just like this with the piece I just sewed on towards the inside, just like the bottom. And I'm going to start trimming them apart. And if you need to cut off just that little bitty bit on the inside, go ahead and do so. All right, now let's just go and trim them off. Sometimes I'm going to have it on both sides where I need to trim it, but I think I'm going to make it quicker by using the rotary cutter real quick. And you can do this with or without a ruler. It's your choice, as long as the pieces are nice and flat. Keeping them in order. So if this has that little piece, I'm just going to go ahead and trim it away. And my next one. Keeping them nice and flat on my table. Nice and flat. Just watch your fingers. Don't cut your fingers. It's probably easier than scissors to do it this way. And you can use a ruler as well if you want. That's your choice. I'm just doing it rulerless. Cut that little piece. Back to the end. And I mean, you can keep these little pieces if you want. I don't know if I'm going to keep them though. I'm going to trim that up. Comes out too far, just a little. There we go. I'm just stacking them back the way they came, in the order that they were originally in. Lay them nice and flat, trim it apart, just like this. This is the part that takes the longest, is the trimming them apart. And stacking them up. Back in the order that they were in originally. Okay, hold on, I can see a bigger screen. I'm really mad at my dog peeing all over your rug, so you're washing it. Good job. Oh, that sucks. My cat peed on my bed one time. He was really pissed off because I guess he just wanted to own the bed, and he peed at Scott's feet. And it was a good thing that we caught it so quickly, because he came out the bed while we were awake, that I spanked his little booty and kicked him off the bed, and we got the sheets off as quick as we could, and the blanket, then sheets, obviously. And yeah, he never did it since, ever. Again, it's going to just be this big, long thing. I'm just trimming them apart. Trying to keep them nice and flat. It's better when it's flat. That way you don't have no shifting of any of the pieces. That's why you guys keep seeing me lift it and lay it, lift it and lay it. That way it stays flat. Because these are turned as I come down. Okay, getting close to the end here. Just keep it nice and flat. Keep them in order. Trim a little bit more off that side. See these little itty bitty slivers. There shouldn't be much waste though, like at all. Just little slivers. Very little slivers. These ones are a little bit more separated when I first started sewing them on. 8 more pieces to go. I'm laying them back with the pinked edge on the outside as if I never did anything. 6 more pieces to go. Just lay them down. If you want to use a ruler, I'll show you how that works. You just take your little ruler, lay it on here, cut, pull away, line it up on the next one, cut, line it up on the next one, cut, line it up on the next one, cut. Stack your pieces before you forget the order that they go in, you know. Just keep lining it up on the next one. Don't cut the fabric though if it folds over itself. And you guys can see my shapes. That's why I'm trying to do what I can today. It's really noticeable today. So again, if you were using a ruler, you just line it up on the next thing, cut it, line it up on the next one, cut it, and one more to trim up. It's probably best to do it in front of you. And cut that little piece off this little end. There we go. All right, now everything's back in the same order I started in. All these little pieces right here, that's so far just my little bit of scrap. We're using all these strips in full. Now what we're going to do is take this piece right here and finger press it. I know for me, I'm pressing it to the light, but I'm just going to press it towards the tiny piece. And I'm going to grab my 3-inch square and sew it to the opposite side. Then again, grab the next one, finger press it. Because these so small pieces, you should just finger press them. You don't need to iron them unless you really absolutely have to. Set the iron next to you and do it. I'm going to sew it right sides together. Again, my 3-inch square by 3-inch square and my 3-inch by 7-inch, pressing that seam towards my white, towards the inside, depending on the color you're using, towards the inside. Take that top one, the 3-inch one, put it on right sides together, like so. So it sits like that, and sew it on. Again, keeping them in order. So I'm just finger pressing it towards the inside and sewing on my piece. Again, I'm sewing that straight edge that I had cut. The pinking is always going to be on the outside of the block. Just grabbing each 2 pieces at a time and sewing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just sew a couple more real quick of these and go to the next step and just leave my pile to finish later, because I got to start getting some stuff done. So let me just sew some more together real quick. And then I'll stop right when I get to that red. So again, right sides together. I'm doing this all from right here at the machine. No need to go to any other area. Just finger press right here. Lay that 3-inch piece on there and sew. And it should all line right up. So I'm going to break these apart real quick so I can show you. And I'm going to try to keep them in order for now. So I'm just going to lay them like this. Keeping them in order. So that way I can get a couple more things done and get off of here. Because I have stuff to do today. So I'm going to just stack these right here. And I'm going to lay them up out of the way because these are finished. But what it would look like is this. So now I want to finger press the side that has the 3-inch in towards that center. And the back side should look like so. It'll close up as if you never took anything away. It'll seal that seam up. So when we go to press it, they'll be nice and flat. But for now, I'm just going to lay them right there. And we're going to go to the 7 by 7-inch square and the 3-inch by 7-inch piece. And we're going to do that same procedure. And I'm going to go down to the same one that I was on. So right sides together, finger pressing it towards my center piece. It will help that block lay nice and flat. And we're going to sew all these together, chain piecing them. Just chain piece it right through the machine. So finger press it while it's up here next to you. Or like I said, you can press everything if you want, but this makes the project go faster if you just do it this way and press the block when it's ready to be pressed in the end. Line it up. Always sewing the side that was cut. So here's the pinked edge side. Here's my cut edge side. My cut edge side will sew onto my strip. This is quite simple. That is the name of this. Simple slice, because this is, you simply just slice your layer cake and sew it back together with 1-inch strip, creating a layer cake with some stripes down it for your large print fabrics. And this will work with any block, honestly. You can change the numbers for any block So you can do 5-inch squares, come in over 3 inches and cut, and then come up 3 inches and cut. It works the same way. It won't work with charm squares, obviously, but it'll work with 10-inch, 5-inch squares. You can do it with 3-inch or 4-inch squares. You can do it with 12-inch squares. You can cut up whatever you want and do it. You can do it with fat quarters, but that's or not. Yeah, fat quarters. You can cut them up into your pieces that you need, all the same size, like 6-inch squares. It's very, very versatile. Lining the top up, lining the bottom. Every block should be exactly, they should all be exactly the right size. Every time. They should be perfectly same size. You see that? Same exact size. Every time. And if you cut that white piece wrong or your background color the wrong way, then it's not going to line up. All right, last piece for this. Stack just for now, so I can get off of here soon. Typically, I would do the whole project and be done with it, you know, but not. I'll come back later. All right, again, just going to trim these apart and lay them right here, keeping them in the order that they were in. Just like so. Now here's the part where you can press so that your blocks lay nice and flat. So let me turn this iron on. And we're going to now, for now I'm going to finger press so you can see. So that's what it's going to look like. And that's what the back looks like. So as soon as I take the iron to it, it should lay it all nice and flat. So I'm just going to finger press these and lay them right here, upside down, keeping them in order. That way when I press, it should be a lot easier. Everything else does not need to be pressed in between everything. There's no point. Just sew them on, then press. And I'm pressing all the seams in towards the little piece that we sewed on. So much easier. So that stack is ready for me to iron. I'm going to iron it from the top. I'm just going to lay them right here, set upside down so that they are back in the same order they're supposed to be in. So when I'm pressed, there's no seam missing. Can you see that? On the front, you have new fabric, but on the back, it's like you never did anything. We're just recreating 10-inch squares by adding a 1-inch strip. And how that happens is because we cut out, or we sewed. What happened here to create this, for those of you who don't know, you take a square, once you cut it, if you add a 1-inch strip, see, it seals it back off like nothing's taken, like so. What happens is all we did was take a 1/4 inch from this side and a 1/4 inch from this side, creating its 1/2 inch. And that should be 10 inches. And just so that you know, it should be right here. And it's 10 inches again, because all we did was take the 2 seams, but only added 1 inch. So let me finish pressing these. I'll get to the next step. And I'm using steam. Just going to lay them upside down right here. The seams are pressed in because the block lays so much flatter that way. And I'm only stacking them upside down because they're putting them right back in the original order. Just like so. 2 more. And even though I have repeat prints, I will have the same piece that goes with the piece that was cut from when I keep them in order. But you can do what you want. If you want to mix them all up in between every step, you can do that. It'll create a whole different look, that's for sure. All right, now let's do these ones real quick. Just gonna stack it upside down right here. Just like that. And these ones I didn't even finger press, I'm just laying it open, pressing it. Just kind of folding it back to, it wants to go towards that little center anyway. So I just fold it. It wants to lay towards the center. So in reality, you don't need to finger press, but you can. Can't see. Can't see. Hi, Susan. Hi, Lacey. No, that's not happening. You were going to sew today, Vicki, but that's not happening. All right, so now they're just back in the original order. So I'm just going to sew these ones together now. This is the fun part. So now it's like we never took anything. See that? Creates a thing. But what we're going to do is we're going to turn them this way, like so. We're going to take another 1-inch strip. We're going to take the big side first. And we're just going to take our 1-inch strip and lay it on top. We're going to sew down the side of this. Not on the pink side, not on the pinking. I'm always sewing to the side that I cut. It helps to remember that when you sew like that, and all I'm doing, oops, these ones are right side up, is butting them up again. Trying to save as much fabric as possible. Just sewing down it. Right sides together, lift my piece up, stick this under. You should be able to get 4 this way. One more. Slide it under. Yep, you should get 4 this way because they're now 10 inches again. With a tiny bit left over. So right off the edge, grab another 1-inch strip. Grab another piece. Lay it up here. Sew down. Folding them up. Sewing down the side. You guys totally know what I'm doing here now. Now it's pretty obvious what I am doing. I'm going to stop at the 4 just because when I get to the 4th piece, so I'll have 1 left over there. That way I don't have to start on another one of these for now. So now what I'm going to do is trim these ones like so. Trim them apart. putting them back in order. I'm going to take that bottom piece and keep it out of the way for now. Like just go like this. Trimming them. Nice straight line right there. And stacking them back up. Just using scissors. And if it's sticking out on the back side, go ahead and turn the piece and trim it nice and straight. Oops, forgot to trim that end off. Duh. Keeping them in order. And coming to the beginning of this one. And now all I'm going to do is finger press this out like this. I'm going to pick up this pile back towards me. And I am going to take now this piece and this piece. I'm going to put them right sides together. And to match this, all those pieces, you can see, I'm going to come close to the camera for this one. You can see through the white, sort of. Line that up to where you're creating from this side to this side a nice straight line. That way, when you go to open it up, they will be a straight line. It's only 1 inch, so you shouldn't be able to knock that off. So I'm just lining it up. And since I trimmed it, they should all be even anyway. They should all line up end to end, if that makes any sense. And you can see it falls where it's supposed to. So let me sew the rest of this pile together, and then I will show you what these blocks look like. They are super simple. This is the super simple slice. Very simple. Can be done really quickly. Obviously, I can't do it all, the whole thing right now, though. I will finish later. And there's no nesting of any seams. All you're doing is kind of lining them up. So I'm going to grab this one, lay it on here. And see, this one sticks out a little bit further. I'm going to just trim that nice and straight real quick, just so that this piece lines up with it a lot better. Look at it and go, oh, hey, yep, my stitching and everything is lining up. And sew it. And every piece should go on nicely. Just going to lay it on here. You can press in between this step if you want to, but like I said, this piece lines right up. Those stitching lines will be right at the bottom ones. They should line up exactly every time. This is the easiest block you will ever make. And I mean easiest. Besides keeping it all together, if you don't want to do much with the 10-inch squares, this is the best thing to do to give you a totally different look for a 10-inch square, but keep the 10-inch square size. I have a piece that's sticking out up here. I'm just going to trim that little dinky bit. Line it up better. If I would have used my rotary cutter and ruler, probably would have not had as many little blips like that. Huh. They're all lining right up like they're supposed to. I'm just lining it on there, just like this. Just hold that piece. You can put a pin in it if you want, but there's really no need at all. Everything should line right up. And I just had a little bitty boo-boo of fabric folding. When that happens, just pick it out and fold that fabric back where it's supposed to lay. Sometimes this happens. Every once in a while, it'll catch that stupid lip on the machine and fold the fabric back. So I just lay it back under there. There we go. Make sure everything's aligned. Another one. Right sides together. Always sewing the side that I just cut, the sides that were cut. That way you're not disrupting any or trying to sew the pinking edges and hoping that they would line up, because the pinking side is going to be a different measurement when you're sewing. That's why I always sew the sides that I freshly cut. It makes it so much easier when making something like this. And again, I'm not pressing until I'm completely done with all of these. Just lining it right up. Everything's good. Nice and flat, nice and flush. Lines right up. No seam to match. And this piece will go down there with that one. I feel like doing it right now. And every once in a while, I still have these little ends that just did not cut away like they were supposed to. I wasn't paying attention. I'm in a little bit of a hurry now that I know the time. I'm going to lay this on here, lining it up, holding my end. All right, let's trim all these apart. Now I don't have to bother keeping it in order because everything is in order. These blocks are completely done already. All right, so now I'm going to press them. Just going to pull it towards me like so, pulling that seam to the inside. And I have created a window of some sort. I'm just going to move that out of the way till later. So I'm going to stack some of these so you can see them right here. And the seam is getting pressed towards the small piece again. So again, the seam is pressed the inside. So it's like I never chopped anything up. There's another one. These are all my repeats. I didn't move the orders, so really much. So there's another one. And if your seam feels like it's not in, just take it to the back side and press it. So there's another one. Another one. Add some steam if you need. I'm just flipping that seam towards the center, coming at it with the iron one way and then the other. The other way should have been already kind of flat from finger pressing. Show you the back again. So it's like you never took away a seam. Here's the block. It's for large prints. Like I said, if you want, you can mix the colors up. You know, move this one with a different one with a different one if you wanted, but I like it this way. Is this like the Layercake pattern except with a sashing strip? This one is just simple slice. That's what I named it. It's simply slicing 7 inches, leaving a 7" by 3" and then coming up from the opposite direction, which would be this way, coming up 7 inches, leaving a 7" by 3" and a 3" by 3" piece. So simply slicing. The layout for this can be all one direction, like so. Let me find a different one. Or you can sash them to make the quilt bigger, or you can opposite them like so, which I have no idea what I'm going to do, but I think it looks really cool no matter what I do. It's going to go 6 across by 7 down, so you can sash in between each block or you cannot. It's up to you. It's personal preference for the rest of it, so I'll just lay them out one up, one down, just so you can see. All these little pieces I'll just throw to the floor for now and pick up in a little bit when I'm done with the things I need to do today. So it can be laid out like so. Oops. One up, one down, one up, one down. Just like that. Or you can sash in between each one of them. So we're going to pretend this is sashing. You can sash with your 1-inch strips with more. That's why I gave yardage. Oops. Stay. Grab a different one. So, or you can sash like this between them all with the 1-inch strips. Again, like this. You just pretend. And I think that looks really awesome. It kind of looks like stained glass. So yeah, I will come back later though and finish all this up. Yeah, I'll come back later and finish all this up, and then we will decide on a layout, which could be anything. I just sliced it, simple slice. You slice it twice and it's ready to sew. And then obviously it uses 1-inch strips. So each block is now 10 inches again. So if you just sew the blocks together without any sashing, it should become, hold on, 67 by 77. If you add the 1-inch sashing, guess what? It'll be 67 by 77. If you add 2.5-inch sashing, it will be 71 by 84, somewhere around there. But I'm not going to do that. I think I'm just going to do it this way, which was my original plan, was just to keep them all the same size and block a block. But I did write it down. It's a pretty horrible drawing, like always. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Don't forget, if you are new, hit that subscribe button, like my videos, share them, and I'll come back later for part 2 to finish this. For now, I got to go and get some stuff in. So bye for now, everyone. Have a good day.